Have you ever found yourself smiling when you're overwhelmed, or nodding like you understand, or rehearsing every word before you speak? Well, I hate to tell you, that's not confidence, that's masking. Hi, I'm Summer. I'm a keynote speaker and leadership trainer that was late diagnosed with autism and ADHD. Now, I'm a corporate survivor. I've worked for the Walt Disney Company, HEB, and even a dude ranch. And I help neurodivergent professionals thrive in a workplace that wasn't built for us. And today, I want to talk to you about something a lot of us have done for years, sometimes without even realizing it. It's called masking. So, what is masking? Well, masking is when you hide or suppress parts of your neurodivergent identity in order to appear more normal, more acceptable, more like everyone else. It might look like forcing yourself to make eye contact, even when it's uncomfortable. Or if you're like me, I make eye contact and then I look away, and then I make eye contact and then I look away, because I've been told that my eye contact is very intense. It might be the mimicking of tone or facial expressions, practicing conversations in your head before you speak, faking enthusiasm in a meeting to seem engaged, or suppressing stimming, fidgeting, or any kind of movement. It's not just pretending, it's performing, and it's exhausting. When I was interviewing for one of my first management jobs at the Walt Disney Company, I went in and I sat down and I was super excited. And I'll never forget, the gentleman that was interviewing told me, he said,
Just relax. It's not that formal. Just relax.
and I remember getting really nervous because in my head, the first question was, how do I do that? And then the second thought was, if I relax, then I'm going to be somebody that he doesn't want me to be, or I'm going to come across as weird or awkward, and I'm going to lose a job. And I really, really, really want this job. So there is absolutely no way that I'm going to relax. So then the next thought was, well, what does somebody who's looking relaxed do? Well, maybe they slouch a little bit. Maybe they lean in. Maybe they smile more. So while I'm having a full conversation with this individual, I'm running it through my head. What does a relaxed person look like? Required a lot of work. And when I left from that interview, I was absolutely exhausted. So you may be asking yourself, well, why do we do it? Well, most of us start masking really young. Maybe it was to fit in at school or avoid being punished. Maybe it was the only way to survive a workplace where different meant broken. We learn very quickly which behaviors are acceptable and which ones make people uncomfortable. So we hide them, or we try to. And it works on the outside. But on the inside, masking can lead to anxiety, burnout, and losing touch with your actual identity. It can feel like you're constantly playing a character in someone else's story. I can remember going to have a conversation with a therapist and saying, this was before I was diagnosed, saying that who I am now and who I was growing up don't align. And it wasn't until I got my diagnosis and started doing research for my PhD and reading the experiences of late diagnosed autistic individuals that I realized it was because of the masking. I had worked so hard to be this ideal individual that I had lost who I was. You see, masking looks different in women and individuals who have been raised as girls. Many women with autism or ADHD or any type of neurodivergence go undiagnosed for years because they've become really good at masking. They're often the high achievers, the good girls. They smile through the overwhelm. They force themselves to be social. They become perfectionists. And instead of meltdowns, you get shutdowns. Instead of fidgeting, you get anxiety. And instead of asking for help, they silently burn out. And this is one of the reasons why autism and ADHD are underdiagnosed in women and gender diverse folks, because they don't look like the stereotype. Now, the question I've been asked is, do men mask? And the answer is yes. Neurodivergent men mask as well as women. It's just women, due to the societal expectations that have been placed on us since we were girls, tend to mask at a higher level and do it a lot more throughout their experiences. But here's the twist. Masking exists for a reason. It helps us survive in environments that weren't built for our brains. It's helped us get those jobs, avoid judgment, and build relationships. So the example that I gave about the interview that I had with the gentleman at Disney, I got the job. And a big piece of that was because of the masking. Masking teaches adaptability, pattern recognition, and emotional intelligence. A lot of us can read a room better than anyone because we've had to. So if you've been masking, you're not broken, you're brilliant. but you're also probably really, really tired. See, the cost of masking is that the longer we mask, the more disconnected we can feel from our bodies, our needs, and even our sense of self. Masking for too long can lead to chronic anxiety, depression, identity confusion, which is what I mentioned earlier, autistic burnout, or in my case, corporate burnout that took years to recover from. Now, the goal isn't to throw away every single coping skill overnight. It's to slowly and safely unmask in spaces where you're safe and supported. It's to build a life where you don't have to wear a mask to be valued. You see, as a keynote speaker and leadership trainer, I still mask when I go into events, but I recognize that I'm doing it, and I've built in space around it to be able to rest, to get the energy back that it takes. So I'm curious, have you ever masked? At work, at school, at home? And what's something that you've unlearned or reclaimed about yourself, or something that you want to begin unlearning or reclaiming if this concept of masking is new for you? Drop a comment, reply to the email, share your story. The community that we're creating at the Neurospicy Workplace is about being real. It's not about being perfect. And I do read every single compliment that you put. Now, if this video resonated with you, stick around. A new video focused on the Neurospicy Workplace will come out on every Monday. Until then, don't forget, you got this. I'll see you next week.